Have you ever been scrolling through your feed and seen those flashy online gurus? You know the exact ones I'm talking about. They're standing in front of a rented Lamborghini, wearing designer clothes, absolutely insisting that you need to invent the next revolutionary tech app, or drop ship some viral gadget if you ever want to get rich. Well, welcome to this explainer on the Zak Wealth Files. I'm Zak, and today we're stripping away all that hype to look at something verified, true, and honestly, incredibly unsexy. We're going to break down the exact documented playbook of a real entrepreneur who built a multi-million-dollar business right from a small apartment. Now look, no business is risk-free and execution is absolutely everything. But the crazy part? They didn't do this with a flashy new invention. They did it by selling the most boring, mundane products imaginable.
When most people think about starting a business, they immediately jump to these flashy luxury ideas. They want to create the next massive fashion brand, or they want to catch the wave of a viral TikTok trend. But the verified reality is that boring necessity businesses are where quiet, unshakable wealth is actually built. Why is that? Well, because flashy ideas are inherently high competition. You're constantly exhausting yourself chasing unpredictable trends. Boring businesses, on the other hand, like selling specialized industrial fasteners or niche office organization supplies, rely on a low competition, recurring need reality. You aren't selling to people who are just looking for entertainment, you're selling to people who have a very specific problem that needs solving right now. Okay, so the very first thing we really need to understand is the massive psychological advantage of operating in a space that absolutely no one else is paying attention to. If you start a trendy business, you're instantly competing against thousands of savvy, hungry entrepreneurs who all saw the exact same trend you did. It's a completely overcrowded bloodbath. But when you sell something totally mundane, like safety valves or specialized brackets, you're competing against what I like to call ghosts. You're basically going up against a handful of legacy companies with websites that honestly look like they haven't been updated since 2005. They usually offer terrible customer service and provide zero value beyond just throwing the product in a box. Entering this market is literally like showing up to a foot race where your competitors don't even realize the race has started. Successful entrepreneurs do not pick products based on what they personally think is cool. That is a massive trap that catches so many beginners. Instead, they rely entirely on data and verified market gaps. So your absolute crucial first move is applying these 4 mandatory criteria. First, the product must be small and lightweight, which aggressively keeps your shipping costs down. Second, non-perishable, meaning it won't expire or go bad just sitting on a warehouse shelf. Third, non-fragile, which drastically reduces your return rates from shipping damage. And finally, the golden rule: it must be an absolute necessity. When you sell a need rather than a want, you gain immense pricing power. A factory owner who needs a highly specific component to keep their production line running, they aren't going to haggle over a few dollars. They buy it immediately because they need it to make money. Now, once you have an idea that actually fits those criteria, you have to validate it. And you don't need expensive software for this. You can use free public tools to look at actual search data. What you're hunting for are products that have a consistent, steady search volume every single month, but where the existing search results are just terrible. When you see outdated websites, awful, blurry product photography, and zero helpful information, that is your green light. While it definitely takes patience to find, it's a data-backed signal that this particular market is highly underserved and completely ripe for disruption.
I really want to dismantle a massive myth right now. You might be sitting there thinking you have to invent a product completely from scratch, hire engineers, or go build a factory. You don't. Here is the exact sourcing playbook. Step 1. Find an existing legacy, often family-owned manufacturer. These are businesses that are absolutely incredible at making industrial components, but they are terrible at marketing them online. Step 2. Propose a digital distribution partnership. You handle the website, the marketing, and the customer service. They just manufacture the product and ship it out. Step 3, you capture the markup margin. You are essentially acting as their high-tech, modern digital distributor.
The financial math behind this model is incredibly compelling. Historically, verified data from these types of businesses shows that because the products are highly specialized and competition is basically non-existent, wholesale markups can often reach double or even triple the cost. That's a 2x to 3x margin, and the best part? Customers are more than willing to pay that markup because they are finally getting professional, speedy service that the legacy competitors simply refuse to provide.
Let's clarify something huge here. You do not need a massive Facebook ad budget or expensive influencers to scale this to 7 figures. Look at your competitive edge. On one side, you have the standard legacy competitor's product page. It's got a blurry single photo, maybe a 2-sentence description, and absolutely zero support. On the other side is your playbook as the boring millionaire. You build the single most comprehensive page on the internet for that specific item. High-resolution photos from every angle, highly detailed spec charts, instructional videos, and FAQs that answer every possible objection before the customer even asks. You become the undisputed expert on that one specific product. And here is what all that hard work yields over time. When search engines see that your page is infinitely more helpful than those outdated competitors, you vastly improve your chances of ranking number one. Think about the psychology here. Customers typing in that exact part name have incredibly high intent. They have a problem they need to solve right now. They go to Google, and simply by being the most professional choice, you build a system that historically captures organic sales without relying heavily on paid ads eating into your margins.
Let's pull back the curtain on how this actually goes from a small apartment operation to a multi-million-dollar cash-flowing machine. This is the unsexy reality, mapped out clearly. Phase 1 is the apartment hustle. This is pure sweat equity. You are manually packing boxes, answering customer emails late at night, and really doing everything by hand so you understand your unit economics perfectly. Once those sales are proven, you enter Phase 2, systematization. This is where you hire virtual assistants for customer service and utilize third-party fulfillment centers so you aren't stuck packing boxes anymore. Finally, Phase 3 is catalog expansion. You've successfully taken yourself out of the day-to-day operations, and now you focus entirely on high-level growth. And this whole process builds what I like to call the wealth-building flywheel. Think of it exactly like a snowball rolling down a hill. You add more related niche products to your catalog, which naturally attracts even more customers to your new one-stop shop. With that higher sales volume, you start gaining immense leverage to negotiate lower wholesale costs with your manufacturers. Lower costs mean higher profit margins. And what do you do with those extra profits? You reinvest that capital right back in to finding the next boring product. It compounds beautifully over time.
Let's bring all these abstract concepts back to your real life. Here is exactly what you can start applying this week. First, stop looking for revolutionary ideas. The next big tech app is essentially a lottery ticket. We are trying to build reliable wealth here. Second, look for boring items that are already being sold, but are being sold terribly by those legacy ghosts we talked about. Third, do not guess. Validate the demand using free data. Check that search volume. And fourth, commit to the unsexy long game. Remember, this is definitely not a get-rich-quick scheme. It requires patience, sweat equity, and an unwavering commitment to outworking the outdated competition.
I want to leave you with this thought today. Build the quiet, unshakable wealth that comes from solving real problems for real customers. Look, it isn't flashy, it probably won't get you on the cover of a magazine, but it is a verified, data-backed approach to true financial independence that actually works. You are simply removing friction for businesses that already desperately want to buy. Think about it. How much of your financial energy is being wasted chasing trends? So I leave you with this final question to think about today. What boring problem are you going to solve? Take a look around your office, your garage, or the businesses you interact with every single day, and start noticing those mundane necessities hiding right in plain sight. If you found this explainer valuable, make sure to subscribe to the Zak Wealth Files so we can keep building your financial literacy together. Keep learning, keep building, and I will see you in the next one.